Joining us this afternoon is David Potter. He's the Director of Digital Media and contributing editor at Americans for Limited Government. Hey, David, thank you for holding through that break. I appreciate your time.
Glad to
David,
be
you and
here.
I, you and I talked. I guess it was last week. We wanted to get you on the show this week, and you wrote an article. Twitter will not get a better deal or a better offer than Elon Musk. Well, right after we arranged for you to come on the show to talk about it. Boom, boom, big announcement. And now we could say Twitter was never getting a better deal than the offer of Elon Musk. And David, you wrote your article and you started out. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently announced that the state of Florida is exploring legal options against Twitter for its alleged failure to live up to their fiduciary responsibility to its shareholders. Now, you wrote that before this deal, but when this deal came down, David, I remembered that line and thought, I wonder if they saw the writing on the wall that Ron DeSantis was going to sue them, and that was just going to be the first lawsuit of many. What's your feelings?
I think they probably did see it, and they probably had their attorneys look at California code, and the code is pretty clear how it would eventually go in court. I'm not a lawyer, but it seems as if it would have went the way of California ruling, yes, Twitter is failing to fulfill the fiduciary responsibilities to their shareholders by
Hmm.
not allowing the purchase by Elon Musk at a 20% premium.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think anybody got hurt here. The Twitter people will walk away with their pockets full of money. As you said, it was a 20% premium. My gosh, make 20% on any stock at any time. That's a pretty good deal. That's really a pretty good deal. But there are still some people at Twitter, working in Twitter, people on Twitter who are crying sour grapes about this.
That is true. Absolutely. They actually had to shut down major changes and prevent the site from being changed in certain ways because they were afraid of a rogue employee maybe doing some hazard to the site out of anger.
David, when do you think this transaction is going to take place, or has it already? I mean, how soon, how quick can Elon Musk set up his office there at Twitter?
That's a great question. It seems that he's already taking the helm in some significant ways. We have Tucker Carlson, he's back on Twitter already. We have the Babylon Bee, and what's funny, the Babylon Bee getting suspended is really the stone that made this all happen, the stone in the river, or whatever analogy you want to use. It was
Hmm.
that point where Elon said, maybe I should actually buy Twitter, and he's making decisions right now. However, the actual transaction, it's still unclear. There's concerns that the FCC might get involved. Hopefully not. Hopefully it'll go smooth because they weren't worried before.
David, one of the things that Elon Musk said he was going to open up the algorithm, make it an open source. Explain that. What's he mean? What's closed? What's open? What's closed? And how's things going to be different now?
Right. So previously, no one knew for a fact
Hmm.
if they pretty much knew if they were shadow banned. They pretty much knew if
Hello,
they're yeah.
me.
Yeah, all but seeing the code. So Musk has dedicated himself to making it a fair playing field for everyone. He says something to the extent of if the 10% most extreme on the right and the left are equally upset, that's the all you need is that type of moderation. So I, s-
Hmm.
I think we'll have some, but it's going to be way more free, evidenced by Tucker Carlson, Babylon B, Dr. Malone is already back. But the final transaction could be the end of the year. I heard one source say. I'm not completely certain there.
David, I'm a little annoyed. I mean, if you come up with 22 billion and I took come up with 22 billion, it could have been you and I, right?
Yeah.
But I'm always kind of skeptical, David. I always like to try to think outside the box a little bit. I'm a little leery of Elon Musk. I'm not a real big fan of his, and Sharon knows that. You know, this is a guy who's never made a buck that wasn't made off government subsidy. I don't even think Tesla is making any money yet, and poof, here's this guy. He's a multi billionaire. Forget millionaire. He's a multi billionaire. I mean, he finds enough money to spend uh, 43 billion, and I heard it's actually going to be more than that because the price of Twitter with this news actually went up, and I'm a little leery of this guy. David, what's your speculation? What's your feeling about this guy? How do you size him up?
I think it's fair to have a healthy skepticism of somebody with a lot of money and a lot of power. That's always a fair thing. I
Hmm.
believe there could be two things simultaneously, that he could be doing this for a profit motive and actually be a free speech absolutist insofar as he can be without the Biden administration
Hmm.
removing him. So I do believe that he has good intentions, and the actions so far show that. But he's probably also thinking profit. He's probably also thinking
Can he
how.
make a profit?
Yeah,
I mean that's a whole $44 billion or 44 billion plus. That's a whole lot of money. Can he ever make a profit other than potentially reselling the company at a future time?
good question. So the stock, I imagine once he opens the algorithm, people can see how it works. He's also made a plan to get rid of all robots. Every human has to verify that they're human. Once all that happens, I do see the platform increasing its value.
Do you
No,
think it'll become a paid platform?
good question. So right now there is a paid plan where you're able to, I think you have your own chat room. There's a few other features. Ad money is going to be where it's at. The question is going to be, are these advertisers going to stick around depending on what level of speech is allowed? And they may, and it may even cause Facebook to relax a little bit. Facebook
Well,
might be like,
that's the other thing I was going to ask you. What does this say for Facebook? What does this say for YouTube? What does this say to Instagram? Could they possibly be the next target? Maybe not of Elon Musk, but somebody with all that kind of money.
that is a great question in the larger context of the whole ESG goals and companies going woke. I know that Bank of America, the former CEO of McDonald's who invented the chicken nugget, he's buying a big stake in Bank of America so that they can't go too woke. His group is. These other companies,
Yeah.
they're going to see the writing on the wall that they're going to lose ground. I mean, we have Truth Social is out now, and it's actually they're
Well, what
using.
what does it say to Truth Social and Getter and Gab and all that? Will will Twitter end up sucking all the oxygen and all the advertising money out of the room?
Well, I think the free marketplace of ideas will decide. I hope that it'll be whenever one platform does something that is bad, that it'll be corrected by others. I do think there's still a strong, healthy market for Truth Social, but it's definitely going to be increased competition. That's definitely the case.
David, you said something a minute ago, writing on the wall. Writing on the wall. Let me read this to you. Last week, Barack Obama declared that government needs to start regulating free speech on on social media platforms because of their quote content management efforts are failing to keep rhetoric, raw sewage out of the public square. It comes from Barack Obama. Actually, the guy I call the puppet master, you know, pulling the strings on that Joe Biden character. Can you see Congress stepping in and okay, right now Democrats have control of Congress. There's a lot of speculation that come 2022 or 2023 actually that may not be so. Can you foresee Congress taking action now to regulate free speech? And by the way, it amazes me this guy Barack Obama, who took an oath to swear and uphold the Constitution and our laws, saying that First Amendment rights have to be regulated. I mean, that's scary. Some people ought to think about that, and maybe that guy ought to be impeached, even though he's not president. There's precedent for for impeaching a private citizen. All right, so maybe this guy should be impeached. But can you see Congress wielding its axe in this fight?
That's a great question. I think the House would be more than happy to do it. I don't know if the Senate has the willpower. However, the FTC and the FCC having the power they do, I don't have a full comprehensive grip on this, but from what I've heard my coworkers discussing, is that they would have the ability to at least hold this up in court for quite some time and make it cost more money, more time. Right now, I think it's split 2-2. Biden has an appointee up
Yeah,
for confirmation. And if that happens, this person would probably be anti Musk Twitter. So that's happening. I think that vote is tomorrow. I'm not 100% certain, but we'll probably know about that pretty soon.
yeah. What scares me? They'll probably get every Democrat vote plus about 10 Republican votes.
Yep,
That's part of the problem.
it
David
is.
Potter, Director of Digital Marketing and contributing editor at Americans for Limited Government. David, we appreciate you, buddy. Please tell our audience how they could follow you, read what you write, and also find out more about Americans for Limited Government. I love that sound, don't you, Sharon? Americans for Limited Government. And if you've ever driven through Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia any day of the week, and it takes hours to get through, you'll understand why we need limited government. There's too many government employees. That's why the traffic's so less. So, David, tell us how to follow you.
Yeah, head over to dailytorch.com for all of our latest articles detailing the struggle for liberty, for limited government, and just really upholding the Constitution. You can also go to getliberty.org where our press releases are there. You can take action there and actually email your congressperson really quickly, congressman, and on important issues that matter to you.
All right. David Potter, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.
God bless y'all.
And you are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. Avoid disappointment and future regret. Go nowhere. Sharon and I will be back with more news and commentary right after we take this break.